Hey everyone, welcome to Up Late with Roberta. Last night I did my first podcast and I had a great reaction from everybody. Really great response actually. I was really happy about it. But as usual, the media wanted to put their spin on things and had to put a little shit ass article in the paper and putting bullshit as they usually do, lies and whatever, and I rang one of the reporters that I had the phone number to and told him that there was particular things that I didn't like that should be removed because certain things were illegal and they shouldn't have put it in there because it was just such bullshit. But he actually wrote an email to the editor and also told me to write an email to the editor, so he forwarded me the editor's email address and I haven't as yet because I just can't be bothered with the media so bad that it's infuriating me to even think about it. I have to write an email to ask them not to write bullshit about me. I had a big response, as I said, today, and a lot of people had asked me about questions about my childhood. I did write a book about 8 years ago, not 8 years, maybe 10 years ago now. It's called Roberta Williams' My Life. It talks about a lot of, from when I was born or when my dad was killed when I was 8 months old. He was burnt to death in a truck accident. It talks a lot about the abuse I had to deal with as a little kid. From when I was about 2 years old, I was abused physically by my mum's boyfriends, and then virtually thrown on the street at 9 years old and left to fend for myself. I slept on the beach, on parked trains at Frankston train station, befriended single parents who had kids because I love kids, and in return for looking after their kids I would have a bed to sleep in. So that kind of helped me, my experience with kids, and along my journeys I've kind of, picked up some tips here and there how to be good with kids, and people often ask me questions and advice and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot about that in the book. Also about my brothers and sisters, and lots of things. So yeah, that was about 10 years ago, and that was written by HarperCollins, produced it, and I had a co-writer, a man who helped me, and I just sat with him, and it was kind of all written from my memory. I didn't need to research anything, didn't need any help with anything, just kind of sat there and rehashed on my life virtually. And the book came out and everyone loved it who read it and said they felt like I was sitting on their shoulder telling them the story. That's how intense it was. So I was really happy about the response that I got from my book. So I've got intentions of writing another one, in the process of just writing bits and pieces down at the moment in regards to what I want to put in there. But so I've had a pretty shitty childhood. I always say to people, I don't want sympathy off anyone. I don't ever tell my life story if anyone asks, because I want people to say, poor you, or oh my God, I feel so sorry for you. But I don't want that. Sympathy isn't anything I've ever asked for, or I never will. I look back as, learning lessons, and, life is a big learning lesson, and, every day you learn something new and you progress. And I say my life began when I had my first child, who's my son Ty. I had him at 17, and that was the first time I knew what love was, when I looked in his eyes and just fell in love with him. He was amazing. It was just me and him, and I was only 17, so there's not much age difference. He's 32 now and had his troubles along his journeys, and he's a great kid though, and we love him to pieces. And yeah, moved on from there. But yeah, so everything's kind of detailed in my book, and it's still available. And I'm not doing a promotional sales pitch here, but because so many people have asked about it, I've kind of thought, well, okay, I'll, you know, next time I do my podcast, I'll raise it and just let people know that it was written by HarperCollins and it's called Roberta Williams' My Life. But although, yeah, it was written about 10 years ago, because they reproduced it and they put new pages in the back, which talked a little bit about Carl's death. But that wasn't written from me because I refused to talk about anything to do with Carl's murder. So, yeah, that's there was a new edition brought out, and that is what the new edition consists of, is the 2 pages at the back that relate to Carl's murder. So, yeah, it talks a lot about my first husband, my kids, my family, my shitty childhood growing up, being made a ward of the state when I was 11 years old. Yeah, had it pretty rough, but, you know, I feel that it's made me want to be a better parent because of the shit life I had, and I never had a mum around to have a relationship with. So I think that kind of, you know, encouraged me to think, okay, well, I want to be the best mum that I would have loved to have had. And I have, you know, along my journey done the best I could with my kids, and feel that I've raised 5 amazing kids. 4, Seppi's still a baby, so, you know, you just never know, but what he's going to be like when he's older. But in saying that, yeah, I've raised 4 amazing kids, and they're very well-mannered, respectful and polite to everyone. And yes, we have our arguments, disputes and disagreements, but at the end of the day, we're a happy, loving family and we get along amazing. They're very close. They've all got a really close bond with each other. And now we have our little Samson, our precious little grandson. He's so amazing. He's 8 months old, and he just brings so much happiness into our life. Like, Bree brings him over and he's eating food and stuff now, and when everyone's sitting at the dining table eating dinner, he's, you know, even though he's had his dinner, he's, you know, wanting more, and everyone's sort of, you know, looking at each other and then looking at me as if to say, Mum, is he allowed to have it? Or, you know, do we give him more food? Or, and yeah, somebody ends up passing him something and a little munchkin will scoff it down, and yeah, he's doing really well, and he couldn't have made our lives any happier. So, you know, a new addition to the family always makes the world a greater place, or our world, and that's what he's done for us. So looking at him progress, and, you know, he's brought such an amazing, you know, different meaning to our lives, and changed our world immensely. Like, Dakota's got an amazing bond with him. Even Seppi, even though Seppi can't talk, or he doesn't express a lot of emotion unless he really wants a cuddle, as soon as Samson walks in, he just is all over him, you know, wants to squeeze him, kiss him. So, you know, yeah, our family life is quite normal, opposed to how we're being portrayed. And like I said, you know, today the podcast is aired, we got an amazing response, and then out come the media, as they do, and fuck it all up because they want to talk their shit. And again, people who believe their bullshit will believe it. But I had an amazing response from everyone saying, don't worry about it, Roberta, it's, you know, it's fine. They talk so much shit, and they could clearly see, I mean, by reading the story, you could clearly see that it was just bullshit. So, you know, I'd rather spend my time in my days talking about my family and my kids than, you know, worrying about the bullshit that the media puts in the paper about us. And they tend to like to do that. And I actually responded to a question today when somebody said something, one of my followers said, something about the media, and I said, when even somebody I know does something wrong, there's huge headlines, Roberta Williams, and then in the fine print just below, it says the story about the particular person. And I think, well, why didn't you write their name in headlines? Because their name doesn't sell papers, so mine does, and that's what they continue to do. So I'm really glad with the response after last night's podcast that everyone watched today, that they realised the bullshit they were talking, and that they, realised that it was just shit and they were just trying to put me down. And it really pissed me off actually today, whereas usually I kind of brush it off. But I thought, hang on a second here, I'm actually reading this and absorbing it and thinking, this is actually a load of shit. You're just talking shit, trying to bag me, trying to put me down because I had so much attention from the podcast I did last night that you just wanted to bag me out and try and make me look bad. But all it did was backfired on them, and all my followers, thank you, because you kind of had my back and, stuck up for me. So I just sort of thought tonight I'll do a quick one and just let you know little bits and pieces about myself, a few other things. Let you know, or the people that have asked about my book, that yes, I have written one, as I said, 10 years ago. Talked about that just before, talked a little bit about what makes us happy. And for the first time in quite a while, the story. Thanks to my followers who had my back and just virtually said, fuck the media. If they're so sick of it, hearing the truth now and reading the bullshit that they're seeing between the bullshit and the truth. And as I've often said, I'm not going to sit in front of a camera and talk bullshit when people can go and look back and say what she said wasn't true. So thanks guys, I really do appreciate you having my back. I appreciate all the messages from today, and I'll be doing another podcast soon, no doubt, and we'll talk further about other things. But tonight really was to just, talk about a couple of different things and thank everyone for their support. And I hope you guys have a great night, and I hope you enjoy watching and listening and whatever. Thanks, guys. Good night.